Hi.
Hey guys, sorry, our internet is really acting weird, but you guys can hear us, so that's impressive, and see us.
That's even better. They don't have to see us, huh? And make you all have a victory.
How are you guys? Waking up?
Okay, yeah, we're okay. Just it's more like the internet's been. We're staying at a friend's place for a couple days. Internet's like a little funny here. We have like Wi-Fi, but
Yeah, you sound like
it's pretty staticky. Oh shoot. Okay.
yeah,
We're gonna
frozen.
take. I'm gonna switch my video off. Hopefully that helps. Is that better, guys? Can you hear me, Russell?
Okay.
This is here. Okay, Jennifer. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, guys, I'm eating right now. I'll be talking soon.
Oh, cool. What are you eating, Russell? Something from the garden?
Just an egg sandwich.
We got Brad. And cool. And I guess we're just waiting for Adam.
Hello.
Maybe Calvin?
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, Calvin's been a little.
Oh, we're using that one. All right.
Oh, hey, Brad. We got another angle.
Okay. I'm ready.
Yeah. Nice. Sorry, guys. So we're gonna do without
Can you hear me okay? You're getting you're a little pixelated.
me. Oh shoot! Yeah.
I think
Unfortunately.
they're having trouble with their internet.
Oh,
They can
yeah, it sounds like it.
I'm gonna try one other thing. Hopefully this works.
Some blur.
Okay. Can you guys hear us? Hello? Nope. Frozen? Am I still there? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear us?
Hey, that sounds better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I'm using my hotspot, so let's see if that works better. Ula, are you ready?
Are you guys back or where are you guys at now? World travelers. It's not in the world, I guess. You know.
Yeah, they're still there.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have to talk from the whole meeting?
That's why they're having trouble. Oh, I like how you blur your background. How do you do that?
Go into settings. I'm obsessed with it now. I'm in Teams a lot for work, Microsoft Teams, and it lets you blur the background. If you go into settings, background and filters, and you have to download some package, but it'll do it.
Okay.
Virtual backgrounds. You can also, it's
Good.
kind of in there with the video filters and stuff. Let me see.
Oh, yeah, it's cool. Hi, Adam.
Hey.
Get a haircut.
Yes.
Oh, man, I need a haircut so bad.
Mm.
Oh, you can do blurred and hats. That's nice.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, the blur is useful.
This is more classy. This is better. I mean, we want to have a professional atmosphere, right? So fedora.
So
Kind of like the blur option though. That's nice.
Yeah, that's what I told him. Yes.
Oh, we have a camera.
yeah.
Well, it's nice too. Like I use it all the time at work because my room is a mess. And I don't want everyone to know my room is a mess. Nobody's let's like. So if you blur it, you can't really tell. It's hard to see.
We need that. This is all.
Jeremy's crossing
Shaking his head off.
without a t-shirt, topless. That's also good. My husband likes to walk around topless around the house, and that was awkward one time.
Shall we get started again? Just to be,
Are you recording?
yeah, we're recording. Who's the facilitator?
Oh, I know.
Calvin.
Oh shoot. Okay, Calvin. Adam, did you work with Calvin this week? Did you have any luck connecting with him?
Yeah, we worked together last night. He implied he would be here today.
Okay. So, oh, speaking of
All
it,
right, speak of it.
no,
Here's we're burning.
Calvin, what's up, man? Can you hear us? Can you guys hear us, by the way? Let me see.
Hey, yep, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Calvin, I think you're the facilitator today, man. Will you be able to
Get out. Okay.
Jumping right into it.
Oh, I don't even have a camera.
Nice orange background.
There you go.
Okay, well, while you get set up, maybe Ula can want to kick it off?
Yep. Okay, I have the icebreaker today. So since I really love, my superpower is smell. I found this icebreaker. What is your favorite smell and why? What is your nice, Calvin? Nice hat.
Thank you. It's just cold here in Chicago right now.
Oh, you are in Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know that. That's summer Michigan. Okay, so I start. My favorite smell is lemon. And why? Because I love lemons. I use lemons for everything, for food, for cleaning, for instead of antiperspirant. I love lemon cake. Like basically, I cannot live without lemon, and I just love the smell. Yeah, who's next? Adam.
I'll just go with cut grass, even though I don't believe in lawns, but for some reason, grass smells good when it's cut.
But if you have a lawn,
Sure.
Even you have a neighbor with a lawn.
Yeah. Erica, how about you?
I love the smell of roses. There's no particular scent, and the smell of rain.
Oh, it's
When it's
rain.
rain and you can smell it. Yeah, I love that. And let's see, Calvin.
Yeah. I just love the smell of campfires. They always put me at ease. So I'm a big fan of that.
Oh yeah, I know.
Who we got? Is Russell on? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Take it over.
I can't figure out my video, but I'll be here. I'll be here with video soon.
Okay, great.
This is a really hard one and a great question. I think I'm really onto like the smell of rotting autumn leaves right lately. But like frankincense is really good as well. I've been getting a kick out of frankincense. So
What is that?
it's they make it out of the bark of a frankincense tree, and yeah,
Oh, nice.
they use it in like Catholic religion a lot. But
Mm.
I never really smelled it from there. I smelled it from essential oils lately.
Mhm.
My wife's into that, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's got a distinct smell. And I'll throw it over to Vivek.
I guess my favorite smell would probably be smell of pizza. I love pizza, so it has a very distinct smell, and I really enjoy it every time I pass it by. And last but not least, Jennifer. Oh no, actually there's Brad and Jennifer, but pass it to Jennifer.
I'm gonna say lemongrass. It's kind of a combination of lemons and
Half meat, half hula.
That's a good one.
Two people over.
Lemon.
Over to you, Brad.
So I think my favorite actually is probably coffee. I think there's a lot of good coffee smells. But a funny one that I kind of thought of first was the smell of beaches. And I didn't really learn till later that it's really the smell of like decaying seaweed that I like. We would go to the beach as like a kid. I'd be like, oh, it's, like I have fond memories of going to the beach with family and yada, yada. And it was only later that I was like, oh, that's the smell of like, plants dying and, being left out on the beach.
You should come to Portugal. There's lots of seaweed on the beach.
Yeah.
You clean it.
We have to turn it into some essential oils or something.
Did we get everyone? Or did we hear from Jennifer?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Lemongrass.
Lemongrass, yeah.
Oh yes, that was a good one. All right. Next on the agenda would be reading the agenda and then seeing if we need to add anything to it or amendments to the agenda. I am actually having trouble finding like the full agenda. It says on the Miro board, at least where I'm looking, read agenda, add to agenda. And I see in the previous board, there kind of was like more of a written out agenda. So am I making that now or does it already exist somewhere?
So that
should be making it now.
The facilitator was supposed to do it.
Yeah, I got missed. I guess I got missed in the last meeting. We probably didn't get it done.
We were just talking about the business model canvas. I'm sure we just missed talking about what we're doing next week.
We're just really following up on that.
Yeah, plus I actually wrote it there, so I don't know, it disappeared about the time of the meeting. Discussing time of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I actually edited, so I wonder
it's not there. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that was tabled to a future time, at least.
Okay.
I have one to add as like a 5-minute suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's what's the topic, and then if there's no objections,
it's about meetings, I guess.
Okay. So a meta on meetings.
Yeah. I want to discuss it a little bit.
We'll do it towards the end. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other major items that we think we should go to next? Oh, I can't just highlight and move it.
Yeah, I would just.
It's not.
I would also want to talk about just some organization feedback stuff. So
organization feedback, and then I assume we're going to be hitting the I forget the acronyms, but our the things that we worked on. The rankings.
The MP. Yeah. I think that should probably be the chunk of time.
That's going to be the big thing. Vivek, your item, we could do that later, or you'd like it to be more up front?
I think I'd rather focus on the business model canvas. We can maybe we could save about 10 minutes or so.
Okay. We'll try to save 10 minutes. And then the meta conversation is about 5 minutes. You assume there, Brad.
Yeah.
We like time to go over meetings, so we do have a chunk of stuff. So probably come half hour left. We need to try to wrap up what we're doing with the chart or with the.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds totally right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Calvin.
What is this? Oh, I'm just moving stuff in the big old board. I'm getting used to navigating the business model canvas. Kind of remember how that's worded. Okay. Business model canvas. Okay, it is officially on the document here for agenda. Everybody's okay with this agenda?
Yep.
Hearing no objections, we'll move on. And I guess we're going to be in that Google Sheets document talking about each team's rankings.
Who's the minute taker, by the way? Also, I just want to make sure that that person.
It's me. I got it.
Yeah, you're
under
good?
control. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Russell.
Nice. Okay. Do we have a link for that document just to get everybody
Oh, sure. Yeah.
over there?
Yeah, unless someone else is pulling it
I
up.
got it. I can put it in chat. Yeah, I got it.
Or someone share their screen, or we just look at their own our own screen. No.
Maybe Calvin could.
Alright.
Could you share your screen, Calvin? Maybe.
I can share screen. Yep. Okay. All right, we should be looking at the doc.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right, and then kind of go with the flow of the chart. I assume left to right is the order we should go.
I don't know if it makes it. We could, yeah. Whatever way.
Right. What would you? Should we start with?
I don't think the tabs are in any order.
Oh, they're not in a particular order.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Good.
So in the business model canvas, what?
Brad, would you say we should start from the middle, like we did?
Do you want to start with the big ones and then
I don't
kind of
know.
the same order we did them in?
You're probably the better person to go to on that.
Yeah, sure.
That makes
We'll
sense.
start with value proposition.
Okay.
Value proposition, I heard.
Yeah, if I order the tabs on my side, is it going to update your side?
Yep.
Let's see. I guess we're
Yeah,
just
it
gonna
should.
test
Yeah.
it out. Where's it? Okay, so value prop. Oh, no, come on. No.
All right, for value proposition, what team tackled that one?
That was me and Brad, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm paying attention to the tabs. Oh, yeah, so I pretty much kept everything. We pretty much kept everything. And ranking wise, I just did like 1, 2, 3. I put them into 3 groups as far as ranking.
Calvin, could
and
you
then-
zoom in a little bit? Would you mind? Sorry.
Oh, not at all. Yeah, I can zoom in, or I can do make the.
Thanks. Just
So
Did that actually
for
get larger?
zooming is super weird. And
I think you go view.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Just a-
zoom.
This type of zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Awesome.
There we go. Sorry about that.
All good.
Yeah, that's good. So like for like the materials ones, or the ones we were talking about, containers, I kind of ranked it as like no containers ideal, or the charging by weight is ideal, or like the best case scenario. And then 2 would be like aluminum, reusing containers, and then 3 is like, better plastics and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I was thinking about as far as ranking. Similar for the rest of them, either high standard, some were more like informational based, some were more about community. And I kind of thought the high sustainability standards and clarity on product end of life was like what, also education were kind of like the top ones that we've been talking about the most. So we put those on top, and then kind of broke it down from there.
Okay, so just following. So, like high sustainability standards, that was your ranking of number 1 value prop. Is that correct? But then I see no container at all. Another number 1. I'm a little
Right. Yeah.
or there's a
Yeah, I
clarity.
wasn't sure how Yeah, so I figured those were like the top ones that we should focus on, and then
Mhm.
that's I mean, they're kind of more grouped that way as the ranking, but does that make sense?
So Vivek, what ones did you work on? Just to quickly see, like, how did you go about the ranking?
Key resources. I worked on key resources and I think revenue streams we did.
Yeah.
Okay, and revenue streams, and we got that. The ranking is in sequential order, and it's treating this entire thing as like one category or one grouping.
Yeah,
And
this is our box. This is me and Jennifer's boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then here we're looking at something, and I'm trying to understand this myself.
Yeah.
There's multiple kind of categories, and within each category there's a ranking. Is that what's happening here?
No, I guess I mean, the tag is just kind of a category, but the rank, I guess the rank is just like 1, 2, between 1, 2, and 3 of how much we've talked about it, how important it is to how central it is to the goal.
Okay, and then 3 or 1 is the highest.
One is
just
one is like the best, yeah, and then
1
2
is the best here.
Yeah,
okay.
Is that the scale that everyone else
just
used?
a little note here. 1. Okay.
Or like 1 maybe being like our highest priority, I guess. Maybe.
Right.
Okay, got it. Okay, there's just the gamification or being best in class and making living
So I think that I kind of think that might be more going. We may want to move that to like the relationship. I don't know if that's really like part of the value proposition. I didn't want to just like throw it into the relationship pile without like, because I know somebody else was working on that, and didn't want to mess up their list.
It's already there, so we can
Oh,
just.
is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could have just checked. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Let me delete it on my side. Cool.
Are there any thoughts on what is ranked the highest priority here from the group? And then, sorry, Erica, you were about to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, like just to give maybe give myself or like a little bit more context, and I understand like what we did, but like what is going to be the use of this? Like our number ones are going to be the things that we're going to focus on first. I mean, for Ula and I, we discovered that some things made sense and some things didn't make sense. It's just like polishing our initial like list that was like just like brainstorming, like more specifically, what do we want to do tonight?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great point. I think the way I thought is, I think Calvin just highlighting is actually really helpful.
Oh, someone else is doing that. But that's really helpful.
I didn't think of it till just now, but I should probably have highlighted them. Yeah.
So I think we should talk. Russell, are you doing something with your computer? It's a little loud, I think, in the background. Someone's got doing something loud in the background. Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to.
You got your video
get
back.
my mic back up and running.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Yeah. So I think we should be talking about these like things as a group, and maybe understanding the logic or asking questions, and maybe spending a little bit of time per box, trying to be like mindful of like how many boxes we have, and trying to if we can get through this today, but maybe it's not going to be possible because it is a lot. And I don't know, Brad, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think we want to get this pretty have a pretty decent like ranking that we feel good about, and rushing it might not be wise. Would you agree?
I think I guess in my mind, the ranking isn't as important as finding, having them all be cohesive.
Okay.
And that they all like kind of connect together.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. And you would say like, and how does this all connect together? If there's like something like the value prop here seems like there's a lot of things still.
Yeah.
So how would everything connect? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this.
So I think we got to take, so I think we want to take a couple of them and see, we got to take like education and see what, what relationships what's the relationship there with the customer, and what's the channels that we would use, and what customers would need that educational products.
Got it. Okay, got it. So should we use that, like, should we go through like one for example, just start with education then? Like,
Yeah, sure.
The other boxes.
Yeah, no, I don't know how, I guess I haven't really thought about how to do it technically. I wonder if,
So like we can just start with like
really thought about
education.
this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sorry, I hadn't really thought about it.
No, it's okay.
What were your thoughts?
Yeah, why don't we just take education for example? That was one of the ones you ranked one, and maybe you said like we can like look at customers, right? Customer segments, and then see how what would tie into the education for customer segments, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And to make sure that there's a connection there.
Also, it might be helpful to use our tags. For instance, I see here community, and I've seen it in other groups as a tag. So maybe that can also help us connect them.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a way to get them all. I wonder if we can put them all in the same spreadsheet, or have them look at, at least a couple of them together and see, what tags, overlap, or, see connections like that. Does that make sense? It's not, kind of breaks the spreadsheet model, but I wonder if we can, put these back into Miro maybe and put them next to each other.
So something that I guess I kind of was doing it unconsciously, but when I was looking at this, I inherently, and this might just be my graphic design background from university, but I inherently saw this as like, this is not a currently like a referenceable guide. This is, far too many bullet points per section. So I inherently thought like, what could be grouped among these? And I think Adam was on the same track with me, is what could be grouped among these to kind of like easily say terms that like cover multiple of these. And then once you had those groupings, I was thinking like, if there were a podium at each one, so if there were your top three here, your top three here, top three here, now it becomes an approachable thing where each section only has 3 bullet points at most. Maybe you even narrow it down to like one core idea in some of them. And then this becomes a referenceable guide that we can go back to and say, here's what we narrowed it down to, or here's what we were thinking. And we're in the process of consolidating these multiple points into kind of categorical phrases or terms to then pare it down to make this a very approachable document. Did anybody else have like similar feeling, or like thinks that that's the direction that this is used, or is this document used in a different way than what I'm imagining?
Yeah, I think that's what we did also. We grouped them and tagged them. And for instance, I can see here that like what we did basically is like all the ones we put together like in one cell, all the tools would be together, and like it made it look like a smaller list.
Erica, yeah, which one did you work on so we can have a look?
For instance, we had key activities. We had which had a bunch of things.
Russell with the fan.
Sorry,
Sorry, Erica, go ahead.
Wow, that was like a vacuum or something.
Shredder.
So yeah, this was the longest list. It had like the 2 post-its and everything. And so we kind of did work on our tags, which we thought, since they're activities, we tag them as a department or like a group of people that will be performing these activities. And then we also classify them between back and front office. So I don't know if how this will help specifically to put them in the canvas, because I think all these activities are important. I don't think we can just choose top 3,
Okay.
but at least it looks a little bit more organized. So I don't know, Ula, what do you think, or somebody else?
I think actually like the tags, are important. That's why we made the tags, to kind of group them, so to make the whole thing more condensed. So I understand what you are saying, how we like to pick top 3. But I mean, if we already narrow them 2 tags, just to that tag, so for example, we already have, instead of, I don't know, 25, we have 7, right? So I would just kind of like, I mean, that's how we did, I think. Just categorizing them and putting them into certain tags narrowed it already. So I don't know if we have to narrow them more, because yeah, they all seem essential. Just we ranked them because we had to. I'm not sure.
Yes, exactly. And we ranked them, and then in our criteria was like what would need to happen first,
Right.
because like for us some things were like equally important. So we say, okay, so first is like the team, like human resources, like hiring, getting organized ourselves, and then all the marketing part, of course, and then just how you said there, but in the order of like what we think, like, okay, not that for us, for instance, is not important assisting customers, but first we need to have like a product and a team that handles the product.
So
Yeah, sorry.
like a chronological order, like chronological order, how the whole process of getting the business on its feet.
Yeah, maybe in the future, like the ranking will change. Yeah, but we consider all of these important. Some the ones that were overlapping, we eliminated them, or we put them where we thought it would be better. I don't know, like if you have any input on this. Like we were both very new at this.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. No, I mean, I think this is good.
Yeah, Calvin and I ran into the same issue of different importance based on the timeline of the project. So we were certain items we were reluctant to rank because ranking didn't make a lot of sense. So I feel like all of these categories are going to have their, we can't treat them all equally. So I think it's okay if they differ a bit in terms of logistically how they're presented.
So you're looking at key partners. Is that the one you guys did, Adam and Calvin?
Yeah.
Okay, so then,
Yeah,
I see producers, refineries, supply chain. Okay, and then you have a couple at the bottom that are unranked. So regulation, local state, funding, so forth. Okay, B2B network. And so for those ones, you guys didn't rank it because it was important, but you didn't think it was like it shouldn't be below number 4. Is that correct?
Yeah, and also some of these are, so we kind of noted that here. Some of them are only upon need, and like we imagine early on finding where we fit it within regulations would be heavy up front, but we assume the business would like kind of address that, and then it would, you know, not be needed. It wouldn't be primary. It'd be primary for certain amounts of time.
Yeah.
And then contingent would mean kind of where we land. So exactly what functions our business does would dictate like how strongly B2B would be necessary. So unranked means like we acknowledge that it is important. And then when we noted contingent, that meant that like this really could come up and be number one, or it could be in the top 3 or something like that. Or it could be, you know, easily well below. We're just not sure how things land. And we were kind of thinking like, as we as a group look at the whole chart, are we going to see like our niche? Are we going to see something arise where it tells us, oh, we are going to be a B2B like heavy business where we're working with other distributors or storefronts or something. And that was going to change the ranking, but based on just kind of like our best approximation of everyone's ideas or visions of the business in the future, these were the ones that we felt confident in ranking, and these were the ones that we weren't confident to rank.
Got it. Makes sense.
There's also a large flux between, depending on, say, what part of this supply chain we're going to do in house. So, like, if we take on the distribution network or the packaging or shipping, whatever that may be, or it was hard to account for those different tacks that we might take in one singular list.
So we did our best to have these overarching terms, which I see other groups are kind of using as their tags, where we have this term in the front that is supposed to encompass all these other sub items from the original list that we were working with here.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the original list. Okay.
Got it. Well, I think, you know, maybe I think we all like, yeah, it looks like you guys did a great job, like everybody. I think going back to the value prop is probably key, right? And you know, this is just my thoughts off the top of my head, and picking, you know, like the number 1 or 2, going through like 1 or 2 or 3 maybe, whatever, and figuring out like where we think our key value prop is, right? Because if that's our value prop, then everything should sort of like work from there, and sort of connecting all the boxes from there, right? So, and then we'll have a cohesive story between all the boxes, and then we could start like the feasibility study to some degree, like studying like areas of the BMC that we are most concerned with, or like we have we're making the biggest assumptions, and start researching them. And we'll have to go back and you know, look at maybe what are some of the secondary value props and whatever other categories connect to it, like channels or customer segments, whatever, and making sure that for the, you know, the second level value prop, you know, whatever connected boxes to it, that if there are any big assumptions, we make sure to research them thoroughly. Does that make sense?
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
So
should we
like,
make a new business model canvas in Miro and start to peel off some of the like top ones from each block that we
yeah,
organized?
that could be.
You mean the tags? So take the tags, or
Well, yeah, or tag.
No, it doesn't have to be the text. No, it could be. No, I would just start with one of these. Like, so, for example, he has ranked. Brad and Russell have ranked for value props high sustainability standards. Like that's, you know, that's one of their ranks. I think we should talk about that and make sure that we agree that like that should be a 1, or maybe something else on this list should be a 1, and then we can just start going from there. We could follow the waterfall from there. Does that
Okay.
make sense? Jennifer, Adam, Russell, I don't know, anybody, what do you guys think? This is just me sort of spitballing a little bit, but I think that like if we say that this is our assumption, like high sustainability standards is what we are as a company going to be like one of our top value props, then everything else, right, flows from there. Like customers, we will know what kind of customers we need to speak to based on those, that being our main value prop. We'll know, and then if we know what customers they are, we know what channels we can speak to them through, and then so forth and so on. And then trying to tie the whole business model canvas together using that main value prop as our linchpin. And we should we'll probably need to do this a couple times, so that we have like any company, there's like a key, one or two key value props, but there's probably a couple other ones below that they also offer. Maybe not be their key value prop, but it's also important to them. And we probably want to make sure that the whole canvas connects to that value prop.
Can y'all hear me? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I have to be honest, I looked at this like an hour before the meeting and I didn't have a lot of time to add to it because I was actually watching the video and doing my reviews. So I was trying to stick a lot into an hour. But like, I think if we can say that a high standard for sustainability is our number one, I think we could vote on that and get that approved like tonight. Then yeah, like you're saying, I think a lot of things will fall into place.
I think that one may not be a good example because I don't know, it'd be tricky to like build a feasibility study just around that. I think we should combine that with either education or maybe the just like no container idea or product end of life. That's my thoughts.
So can you say
I think that's like
Ula was talking to you for a second.
The high sustainability standards. Well, I guess like unless we're like defining the standards, I could see that.
Yeah.
If that's kind of the proposition. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I actually, so this is where I would debate this a little bit because so while I totally think we should have high sustainability standards, and I think that'll be a key value prop to a degree. Like the one we took away was the gamification. I think that to me, gamification / making sustainability fun. I think that's like a fairly unique value prop, and based on my research of the space, I was listening to this talk with the CEO of TerraCycle, for example. He was talking about how you give people two opportunities, both like the opportunity to recycle or not to recycle, and they put the two bins right next to each other. People oftentimes will, even though things are convenient, even though things are easy to do, they won't make that decision, and they'll make the wrong decision. They'll just like throw it in the trash. And I think actually, if we made it fun, we figure out some way to make the process of being sustainable fun. This could be a unique value prop that probably no one else is really doing. They're doing the easy stuff, like they're making it easy for people. They're like figuring out good vendors to work with. But this, I think, would be a way for us to be fairly unique.
Yeah, I agree. So, but where I push back is like, I think we need to have, I don't know if we need to stack rank. I think maybe we need to try to do 2 or 3 value props, choose 2 or 3 as our most important, and then we can't waver on those, right?
That's a good point.
So maybe it's high sustainable standards and it has to be fun, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm leaving it for now.
I like this idea that because in my mind earlier I said, you know, it'd be 1, 2, 3, but the idea of it being similar to the idea of a mission statement, where it's more of like a sentence structure, and within that sentence is the gravity of it, or the I'm having a loss of words, but that's what matters, is when the ideas are strung into a sentence for value proposition. So the value proposition, I mean, if we weren't high sustainability standards, well, then we couldn't have fun with it. So, you know, one is implicit to the other. But when you say a sentence of like, to make high sustainability standards fun for the end user, something like that would be an interesting value proposition to me. And I hadn't thought about it as like a sentence of an idea. I've been thinking about it as individual ranked items.
Love that. That's awesome. Yeah. So should we maybe go down this, like try to like, to your point, Calvin and Russell, should we look at just say, hey, our key value prop, let's just investigate this for right now as a group, you know, through all the boxes, and say, like, start with high sustainability standards, and now like look at the customer segment box and see how that ties in. Would that make sense?
I think that's a good idea. Even if I don't think we should have to don't feel like we should have to tie ourselves to that one either.
Yeah, I think Russell,
just to kind of practice the process.
They could be multiple. I think we should just try to like pull like just like start with high sustainability standards as like our first run at this, and see if we can tie the whole canvas together with like one value prop for now. It doesn't have to be our final like go to market key value prop, but let's just try to start with that.
Sorry, is this like the storytelling that they mentioned on the video that we watched last week? Yeah. Okay.
I think so. Right, Calvin or Brad? Okay.
Yes, we've kind of.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
I think so, Eric.
Yeah, in some ways we're kind of. Sorry, is there a delay? I think we're kind of taking the pieces that we have here on the business model canvas now and creating a story out of it. If that makes sense. And we don't necessarily have to use them all. You know, we've kind of given them some, you know, we've kind of organized them a little bit. Now we're just kind of putting the story together.
Right. So I don't think we have to take like a vote on that, right? We would just, you know, if no objections, is everyone okay with exploring this and kind of like a story kind of approach? And we're going to pick like the 2 or 3 items that work here out of the ones and run with it, see how it plays. All right. Seeing no objections, let's take suggestions for like which of these ideas couple together really well and could work for us.
I'd maybe before we go into that, what's glaring here to me is the between high sustainability standards and no container at all. I wonder where the group is at with regards to these 2 items. Has anyone kind of gotten deeper into what those standards might be, and also do we see this store as a store with 0 containers? I'd love just to hear people's thoughts on those 2 things real quick.
In my mind, that's still to be determined. I think we're figuring that out well now, I guess, and how I think, you know, like no containers is ideal. Is like the absolute ideal situation. I think we're going to come back to having some containers as we kind of face reality. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, sort of. I was thinking. I mean, I was thinking about it I think as a store who is, promoting no plastic, we can have like any plastic. We can have substitute containers, but no plastic at all. Like I can't imagine that we would have anything plastic. And I think if we look for alternatives, there are. I mean, I don't know if there will be as affordable. Probably it's going to be completely different, but I would opt for zero plastic. Doesn't mean no containers. Still containers.
Like when we do like the feasibility study and like we do go more in depth into each piece of these blocks is when we are going to make those decisions, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think, yeah, and just to echo what you're saying, Ula, I think high sustainability standards includes no plastic. I think that's like one of the highest we could potentially do. So I think that includes what your concern is.
Mm-hmm.
I believe when we narrow down what that means, that's going to be included as part of our standards. That said, I don't think we would be angry if someone brought in their own plastic container and used it to fill up beans or something. But
no, is it drink? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not drink.
So.
It already wants. A single plastic use.
Yeah. I think to what like Russell, Brad, I've been saying, I feel like folks are saying even like I think. So the way this works, right, is Calvin saying, what is our value prop? Let's try to create this sentence, right? We're gonna say, let's even Calvin take what you said before, because actually I thought that was really clever. It was like high sustainability standards that I don't know. You said something about like making it fun for the customer, or something like that. You said,
and high sustainability standards, making those fun for the end user.
Yeah. Right. And so then, now we're going to figure out who like that end user is, right? And then we're going to figure out how we're going to speak to that. And we're going to go through this whole thing, right? And then we'll have our first version of the canvas. And then we're going to have to like, what does high sustainability standards mean? So that's going to be for like 1 or 2 people to like research, or 3 people to research, whatever the number of people is. They're going to do that task. And then there's going to be another group that's going to like investigate the customer segment that we attach to that. Okay. And like find out, is this this real? Like what is important to them on a high sustainability standards? And I really like investigate all these pieces. So we're just trying to tie this, like create a story so that we can start researching. Can we go? So is that cool to go with what Calvin said, or does anyone have pushback on that for value prop?
Yeah, I like that. In fact, maybe we switch the word from high to highest. So it's the highest sustainability standards while still making it fun for the end user.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take that friendly amendment.
Cool. Jennifer, you've been quiet. What's going on with you? What do you think?
It sounds good. I like the plan of going through the different, taking one and go through the chain and see where that all fits together.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. Assuming one will kind of influence how the other boxes go, that makes sense to me. As facilitator, any other suggestions on things to take and put in the box to run with? I don't want to close anybody out just because I have the power of the screen here.
You mean which one to start with?
Yeah, so suggestions on this, or if they have their own kind of statement that they think encompasses the highest ideas here.
I wonder why I didn't see.
He's using a different document. He's just
Yes, I'm sorry. I took this and I sorted it based on this column here.
No, I wonder why I
copied
didn't
and
see
pasted.
it.
He's a different document. This is his own document for now. He has his own working document to make it easier for us. Thanks, Calvin. Shall we go to customer segment then?
Well, before we do, I could say like
education
could be another one that we would approach it like through the view of education being our number one. But I think that the first one is great as well. But you could see how we could do this project. Hey, Carter, stop talking. You can see how we could go through this with saying education's our number one value prop, and then we would go through the whole canvas again, and we might get a different canvas at the end. So
well, I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think we're going to need to investigate these things, right? And I think what's going to end up happening is there might be groups that like research one version of the canvas and another group researching a different version, right? And based on the results of that research, we might find that like, you know, the customer segment that we thought would be interested in education is like not as interested in education as we thought. Like something else is more important to them, right? So I think going down this this like version of the value prop will just give us an outcome. It's not like the final outcome. It's just a version of it.
Okay, and so then I propose that we create another business model canvas, and we try to just put one bullet similar to this bullet that we have as a first pass.
Boom.
Just one bullet for each box.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, there you go. Cool.
Nice. You got one up on the board.
So what do we do now?
So with this in mind, we see how it fits and plays with the next box or wherever next is like intuitive.
Customer segments, right, Brad?
Well, let's do in the order that we did them. Customer segments, and then we'll do partners, and then we'll fill in the stuff in between.
Cool.
Okay, who worked on this group?
We did. I think,
All right, tell us
so I
about
think it would kind of match. So are you guys there? Yeah. So we found like looking at the tags, if you can look at the tags, our number one is environmentally and health conscious people or customers, right? So that probably, I mean, looking at what we just typed, where is it? Just lost it. Making highest sustainability standards. There are people who are sustainably conscious. So that's actually, I think it's matching already.
Well, actually, and just like with Calvin's sentence he put in, actually, you could change that sentence, right, Calvin? You could be like, if you go back to the business model canvas for a split second, it says making the highest sustainability standards fun for the, instead of end user, it'd be like environmental.
Environmentalists.
Environmentalists, or is that the word you guys want to use?
Yeah.
Erica, or
I mean, environmentally, that would
environmentally conscious people.
Yes, because that's more broad. You know, everything what we have here fits into environmentally conscious and health conscious too. We actually included health conscious.
I would say environmentalist encompasses all, and it's like maybe will make it easier to read, but environmental.
I don't hate that either, and I kind of like the language saying like environmentalists, and then the surprise is like most people don't think of themselves as environmentalists, but we believe they are, you know, inherently. That's kind of cool. It's kind of inspirational.
Yeah, we when we were doing that, we were actually wondering if environmentalists are activists or if they just care about the environment. So I'm like really unclear about that. So if anybody has like any input on like if environmentalist has to be an activist or is just someone that cares about the environment and could also be an activist.
I think my take on it is they just care about the environment. I mean, activists, I think is a much more niche group of people. I think they'll probably be the type of folks that would be like lining up on day one to show up for our store opening or website launch or whatever. But I think a broader group would be folks that maybe not are, you know, showing up to protest on a regular basis, but like are pretty interested in the subject matter. If
Yeah.
someone disagrees, I could.
Another opposite way to look at it is making sustainability easy for all people. So not targeting environmentalists at all.
Right, because somebody who doesn't necessarily, take strong empathy with the environment and everyone else, but just wants like a good product, we could offer them that, I guess.
Yeah,
but
but
that's not, they wouldn't be seeking us out for that value then.
Right.
I think there's some.
If
There's
we're
at least
focusing, oh, sorry, Brad, go ahead.
I think there's at least some correlation between people who like really need a sustainable product, like really need it and not just like want it. Right. I think that's the reason they like environmentally conscious people are, I think are a good place to start, or like a good customer segment. Like I know that's kind of a big term. There's a lot, it kind of covers a lot of different people, but I think there's some correlation there between people who like really like need these products.
So you
Or
start,
like, for whatever reason can't use plastic.
sorry, you start with a group, right? And like that are probably gonna be your first customers, and then you expand. Is that
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Calvin, can you like share screen for the spreadsheet, please?
Yeah.
Because when you look over there, like what Adam noticed, or I think for someone else, what if we don't target the environmentalists, but the people who have high standards? But that's our different category. Is the practical people who shop there because they have high standards of quality. So that's a slightly different category.
But I kind of agree with your stack ranking here, though, Ula, is I think our number one should be the environmentally conscious, because that's who we are. I feel like. Like we all fit in that first box.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, describes us very well.
Together in the first place. Yeah, we were talking about we want to expand so it's easier for anybody in the end, but we have to start somewhere. I feel like if we put high quality standard people in that story, it's gonna sound repetitive.
No.
She was just giving an example of like.
Okay.
But I would like, even I don't know if folks got a chance to watch that video I sent. Who's that? With Seth Godin.
Yeah.
He kind of talks about how to spread an idea, and he talks about like take a strong stance on a particular area that you believe in, that's important, and serve the people that like are really into it, like really are like, this is a pain point for them, and create a great service, create a great product for them. And over time, they will spread the word for you. They'll be advocates for you to everybody else, because traditional advertising just doesn't reach anybody. Like it just doesn't, it falls mute on that, because there's just so much information out there. So like the environmentally conscious folks, and maybe we even should make them a little bit more focused, but for now, perhaps just like say environmentally conscious, like let's target them with this, fun, sustainable, sustainability as high standard product, and focus on that. And then that gives us a segment of folks that we are very clear about, and then B, we know how to speak to those type of folks, because they're defined, versus if it's all people, that's a little bit harder to target them.
Vivek, I wanted to make sure everyone knew. Did you post that here in Slack?
Yeah, I did. I posted it in random maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, just wanted to make sure people knew
Yellow.
which one you were talking here.
Scroll up. It was a couple weeks ago.
I don't know what it was called.
No, I'm not seeing it there. It's weird.
I found it over there somewhere. That was the week. It was like so many posts.
There was a lot of posts that week. Yeah.
Posts. Okay.
Way too far.
You just search for Seth Godin.
Oh yeah, it's a better way to do it. So,
There you go. General, April 14th.
It was in general. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You can search for it too.
Yeah, what he also like pointed here, like to make it clear for those who didn't watch, but it's worth
right there it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he
There we
said, you know, like how the idea is spread. So we don't target the masses because masses just follow everybody.
Yeah.
Right. So the best is to follow us to target the niche because they will kind of set.
They'll be your brand spokesperson for people.
Right, exactly. And then then we want all the masses to follow them, which way they do, and that's how it works. They start following them later.
I mean, this is sort of the case. When this TED Talk, happened, this was like 2003. This was like kind of fairly new marketing concepts. But like now it's more traditional. Like if you look at, for example, Instagram, right? So Instagram started off with photographers, like really good photographers. They had these great photos. They were putting it up, like they were sharing those photos on Facebook and Twitter, and then people saw those great photos, and then they started like coming to Instagram, and so it went from like folks that really wanted a platform to share their amazing photos that they were already taking, and then it spread to the more general public over time, and there's lots of examples of this, but that's just one that comes off the top of my head.
This theory just inherently makes sense to me as somebody who doesn't like that my participation in our capitalist system as it is, that I am through some of my purchases, I'm promoting things like things that are bad for the environment, slavery around the world, or less than ideal working conditions. And I've spent hours and hours searching for ways to purchase and on a regular basis not have a negative impact in the world. So as soon as I think people like us and like me find that value proposition, that like, hey, we're offering something that is, when you purchase through us, you're not causing harm. In fact, you might even be helping the environment if there's seeds in our compressed cardboard packaging or what have you. And then we would tell the world. We would endlessly say, please shop here. This is where it's at. Here's where you can shop and actually feel good about it. I really like this. I need to check this one out.
So are we going with the first one? Was there any, it sounded like there's a couple people agreed.
Russell put it in the chat. We hold the highest sustainability standards while providing fun for environmentally conscious shoppers.
Ah, nice.
I'm liking that.
I like that, Russell. Nice, man. He was struggling with his mic, but now he's coming in strong.
What was happening was it was choosing like the default mic, which apparently makes really loud noises for you guys. So sorry about that.
Yeah, that happens.
Waltz. Wow.
Calvin, you want to grab the environmentally conscious and throw that in the customer segment? I mean, just I like it. I like that you're putting it all in one post-it, that maybe just so that it's visually later on.
To paste it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What did you mean?
Take the environmentally conscious shopper and stick that in like a post-it in the customer segments instead of in key propositions.
Maybe we can have a separate post-it for the story outside of the canvas, and then the different parts of the story in each.
Put it all together. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is something for. Oh, I'm sorry, customer segments. Is this what you meant? Because I just copied what Russell had and put it in there.
No, I think that's good.
Maybe just remove that and health part. Maybe just environmentally conscious, right? Shoppers.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me.
There you go, shoppers.
Yeah, and also maybe we can drag that story post-it outside the canvas, and in key propositions just keep the high standards.
Yeah. High standards
Yeah.
for fun, right? Because it's not just high standards. It's a combination. It's a combination.
Oh yeah. High standards for fun. Okay.
I'm gonna jump
Yeah,
in
go
here.
ahead and
Yeah.
adjust it. I'm not quite following along.
That's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
So we just want to keep it just to the, yeah.
Okay.
Just that, right?
Okay.
Maybe you.
And then, yeah, we'll stitch
I
them
got
all
it.
together after we get something.
Calvin, why don't you
figured
go to the next one so that I can help you on the side. Don't worry.
Okay. So in this order still, key partners next.
out. Yeah.
Was it key partners? Okay.
Yeah, that's on the other side.
Does that check out? I'm sorry. Key partners is what we wanted to go next to, Brad.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay.
Okay, now they're in order.
This is Adam and I. Adam, why don't you speak to what we found here?
Well, I suppose the top ranking, and we kind of went back and forth on what to call it, but by calling it producers / refineries, this is who's creating the product or who is refining the product. Although the supply chain would have some significant sustainable impact, I feel like it's all about the quality of product, and where it came from. So
The
think
producers and refineries part of the supply chain? I think that is part of the supply chain.
we showed the supply chain to be just the shipping, packaging, delivery, distribution companies, as opposed to the producers.
For the scope of this, you can probably just focus on like all these are probably going to be needed to some extent, but we should probably pick one that's the most important.
I say it's that number one right there, because if we don't do it, we don't have a product.
Right. Yeah.
What
And it has to fit with sustainability, and it has to fit with our conscious customer.
Yeah.
What stood out to me when we were speaking about this is supply chain was only even this high, because almost any store is going to have this. It's part of it, but it's not like the highest of rank. The only thing that caught my eye was packaging, and that's where I thought a lot of sustainability would come into play. So if there's a way to think about packaging and producers together, that might be a way to like cover everything major. Because to me, if packaging wasn't in supply chain, I mentioned this when we were talking about it, supply chain would be even lower to me. I would be focused on marketing before supply chain even. So it was really this packaging. I almost thought packaging could be its own encapsulating category. Does anybody else see a way that producers, refineries, and packaging? Because if you think about like, for example, one potential package could be pressed tea leaves. I've seen that out there that hold like strawberries. There is a producer, there is a farmer making those straw leaves, and then somehow somebody's, in a word, refining that into a container that can hold for a while. So this is my this is my final stand for hopefully packaging gets in there somehow.
I think for the scope of this,
Sorry, go, Brad.
I think for the scope of this, I think we should pick one or the other. I think like for one feasibility study, I think it would make more sense to just pick one of those.
I would agree with Brad, and I think on top of it, Calvin, my from seeing like companies that are competitors sort of doing some stuff that's similar to us, I think they when we are like looking at the producers that are making these products, like we will set like the standards in-house, like that's part of our value prop, right? So then we will talk to them, we'll like understand like how they are going to package these products, and then if
if they can adhere to it, then they could be potentially a retailer with us. But if they can't, then they won't, right? So I think that'll be part of like our investigation of like what is the high standards. I don't think we need to be like super duper stressed on like them using a particular packaging, especially. But and as we get bigger, I think we can always continue to raise the bar. I definitely know, for example, Amazon does this. Like they, in certain ways, like they like toothbrushes, for example. I think they make sure like the top ranking toothbrush that appears like on their site, it has like a really easy to open up package because like they want to make the customer experience like really good. And so I think as we become like a more and more important retailer for our vendors, we can continue to raise the rate, like continue to raise the bar. But I don't think we need to be so stressed on the package.
Vivek, what you're saying does make sense. And this was part of the struggle that Adam and I had was, and part of why some things are labeled contingent. So the idea, like, I guess I had imagined, I've worked at a strawberry farm and we pick them in giant boxes like this. And then they get shipped like that. And then somehow along the way, they get put into smaller containers for an individual or a family consumption. Because nobody's gonna, I guess, take a giant thing home unless they're making like 20 pies that night, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, who's getting it and putting it into a smaller container that, you know, we know isn't going to be plastic. And I thought that was us in a way. I thought, or I've had imaginations that our store also specializes in containers. And based on what you're saying, that's not how you see any functionality of the store. You see it being more narrow as just the storefront.
Well, I think again, I'm not saying that that's hard and fast, but I think just for sake of, you know, going through this canvas for the first time, I think there's an opportunity to say we're going to set the standards. We're going to investigate our partners, and we don't need to be like pros on the packaging, like us packaging ourselves. We can put it on the retailers, and they have to deliver it to us in that way. Otherwise, we just wouldn't accept the goods.
Okay. I see it.
Right. And it's not all lost either, Calvin, because like if we did this business model canvas with the scope of education over highest sustainability standards, I feel like packaging might be the most important thing that the consumer can focus on potentially. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
And that packaging research you guys did will still apply to determining what we tell them as the packaging we accept. So I think it's important.
So I think when we say highest sustainability standards encompasses everything, right? Because it has to be like where we get it from, how we get it to you, and in what. So it's like it's all like sustainable.
Yeah.
Related.
So I see.
Suggestion for this story.
Okay. Farmers and producers is the.
Should we pick like one of those? Should we pick like local farmers? Like just out of the producers and refinery, the list there on that first one? Or should we do
it's not just farmers, right? Because, you know, we also have household goods and things like that. So that's just not just
I would just say our key partner is producers and refineries.
Okay.
That's what I would put.
That's local.
I
would add the word local.
It doesn't have to always be local if it's like a household good. It may always be local. I mean,
yeah, like I can't get local lemons
or local coffee. Yeah.
Just not looking hard enough.
I think in the pursuit of highest sustainability standards, going for local for, you know, depending on the product will be like the answer rather than shipping it super far. But for items where they only grow in tropical climates, if our store isn't located near a farm or a refinery that does that, then we'll have to. But I think local will be inherent in there. I acknowledge the local is very important.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
I wrote a sentence, kind of like trying to riff off of what Russell did the last time around. I wrote, "We hold the highest sustainability standards while providing fun for environmentally conscious shoppers by working with a curated set of farmers and producers."
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like
Growers.
reasonable. It's just like and curated would fall into our our highest sustainability standards. So that's how it plays into it.
So you said producers and what? Producers and
Farmers and producers. yeah.
Farmers.
farmers and producers. Okay. I'm adding that to the notes just so we can keep a running tally of that sentence as we.
I can do it. It's if on the business model canvas, it's just below in a post-it.
Cool.
I've been writing, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah, I like Erica's in the chat. But I think Vivek says the same thing and then adds that word curators.
Yeah, it's like inverted. Like I started with
Yeah.
like what our team does. Yeah, but it's pretty much the same.
Okay. Hearing no major objections, I hope it's okay. We go on to the next one. Brad, can you offer us your guidance here, where we go to next?
Erica somehow got to the beach right away. Somehow.
Just do let's do resources.
Key resources. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They need to add a post to key partners.
This is me and Jennifer. So
Brad, Brad suggested resources, Erica. I hope that's okay.
Yes,
Sorry, did you?
the I don't know, like the mirror frame to keep it like we have to put the one that we selected in the key partners block.
Oh, you were saying put that
Yeah.
in there. Okay.
Yep. Do you need somebody to do that?
we can do it.
Yeah, please.
Ula will do it. Don't worry. We can just keep moving forward because
Okay, you in there now?
be mindful of time.
Go ahead.
We have about 10 minutes
Okay.
before we're supposed to do subjects. So.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think this is going to be an easy one because, like, key resources. Jennifer and I ranked and team, and there's a bunch of things within team: steering committee, retail workers, security, accountant, teachers. All these type of things were all under team. As our number one key resource. If you don't have a team, okay, really solid team, then we won't be able to do all the other things we want to do.
I think that's good. And that's also who's going to be working on it. For
Yeah, and the
next,
team, and the team is the
months.
one that produces our intellectual property. Intellectual property being the research that we're going to do, the relationships we're going to have, and like creating branding, all that kind of stuff. All that, and then that intellectual property is what gets us community and supporters. So it kind of all waterfalls from team. So
Yep.
this should be hopefully an
I
easy.
think that's good.
Hopefully everyone agrees with this one and we can move on. But if you guys don't agree, pause me. Jennifer, do you want to add anything?
I'm just trying to figure out why we put inventory as real estate. I don't.
Oh, I think that was a mistake. I think it was Jennifer, you know how we moved the numbers. Like I think we probably had the tag probably stayed, but we moved the item from like lower in the ranking to higher up on the rows. That was a mistake. I'll fix it.
Oh yeah, they're just flip flopped. That's all.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Real estate is inventory. Inventory is real estate. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Good catch.
Okay.
But
This.
I kind of wonder the intellectual property was almost like on this.
We're just going to focus on team right now. We don't need to focus on intellectual property. That's
Move on to.
Yeah.
As long as no one else thinks another one should really be at the top spot for this round.
Okay. So Ula wants to debate intellectual property over team.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, sure. I mean, we can have a team, but intellectual property researchers, like we need that in order to know what we want to sell, right? Not just
You need intellectual property.
intellectual
Or like research?
So for,
Yeah, but first
yeah,
you
I mean,
need research.
it's almost there on equal, if not higher. But
Who's going to do that? Research.
Yeah, first you need a research team.
sure. So intellectual property, they are not like it says research. I thought it's researchers.
Not research.
Mhm.
If I may, could I add research here? Well, I guess steering committee
Researchers.
researchers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Because that stood out to me, but that's
yeah. We are the researchers in the scenario.
I mean, really, you add the team to the resource, and then the
Researchers.
activity is researching, and then you get research. And now you have IP.
There we
Yeah.
go. That's what I need. That's what I was making.
This is like, it's like playing Minecraft, where, you know, you have to like, you need a thing, and then you turn it into another thing. Now you got that thing, and then you can turn it into another thing.
Uh-huh. I'm no big fan of
And then I'm not sure how to make this into a story, but for the sake of maybe fitting one more in, is everyone okay going to the next one?
I put team in the story.
Oh,
like,
excellent.
The team.
in
It's very
in
big.
the group chat.
Excellent. There we go. So there's a version exists. Save it for the record. Is the next one, Brad,
We'll
going
do
to
activities
be
right above.
activities?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me make this just a tad smaller.
Okay, so I would say that then the activity that relates to this is like selecting the product. Where is that? In marketing, number 2, selecting and evaluating the products we sell. Because that would be like committing to the highest standards. I don't know, just to keep it with this story flow. But I don't know if someone disagrees. And
Could you state one more time what you were pushing for there, Erica? Which one do you see as?
so I would say that according to the story we're creating today, selecting and evaluating the products we sell, which is in the marketing tag, number 2,
Okay.
would be, we could accommodate it there.
Do you think that includes setting the standards for those, the like the high sustainability standards? Do you think that's included in that? I mean, in some ways, yeah. Okay.
And maybe we missed putting here research, so we could be like researching and selecting. We can add that word.
I think selecting, evaluating, researching. Yeah, we can put all 3 of those together.
Researching is in here.
Yeah, just plop that in there somewhere.
Okay, so we've heard leaning there for this choice with the marketing tag to be put to the board.
Yeah, like the key activity is being, I don't know, selecting, evaluating, and researching the products. Is that too long?
Oh, okay.
No, I think that's good.
Can you say that one more time, Erica?
So like the key activity in this case would be selecting, evaluating, and researching the products we sell.
Yep, I think that's good.
I inherently appreciate that human resources, especially in a worker co-op, is going to be like viewed as the most key activity. It is what makes it happen. But I guess in terms of like the business, I understand this marketing here to be, especially the selecting, evaluating, researching, to be what makes the business successful. Yeah. So I'm in agreement, Erica, with your leaning that marketing.
Okay, yeah, we had a hard time with that because like this is important, but like here comes like the hiring and the same that we'll be talking about. Some things seem very important, but without a team that works behind all those things, then you cannot do it.
Yeah. I guess with it being a business model canvas, it's hard to separate the business from the idea of the people working it in a co-op. But if I try to relegate it to just the business. I think the marketing section is very strong. I view that as being the most important. Does anybody have any thoughts on the number one being the choice instead, or is everyone also kind of in agreement that 2 is where it's at?
I think 2 is where it's at. I think in the sticky note we should just put marketing, and then maybe explain it with the selecting, researching, and evaluating products we sell.
Mention
So like
marketing.
Maybe a colon, maybe marketing and then colon, and then or parentheses. That works. Yep. We're doing those things in service of marketing because that's how we're going to get to our customer segments. And meet our highest standards while still having fun.
Yeah, somehow we got to let them know about it. Yeah, and let them see how fun it is. So that checks out to me.
I just actually, I'm gonna. So I see the tag as marketing, but when I read this selecting, researching, and evaluating products we sell, I mean, this is just like a, it's not super important, but that doesn't feel like marketing to me. That feels like, whether it's like
research and development.
Yeah, like research and like, or even like partnerships, developing relationships, that kind of stuff. That's what it more. I mean, I understand why it might have like even more broadly falls under like maybe like a marketing or external outreach. But
is this branding standards then? Is that closer, Vivek?
Not to me.
Okay.
Because the way we wrote, right? Like what the wording that you guys told me and I put in the sticky is selecting, researching, and evaluating products we sell. And I totally get that. That makes sense. Like that, like figuring out who we're gonna be working with, and making sure we curate the right partners. The right retailers makes sense.
I see what you're saying. Why don't we just switch it, like instead of it saying products we sell to products we market and sell. So selecting, researching, and evaluating the products and the products we market and sell. Yeah. And then delete marketing from the top. Get rid of the parentheses. And I think we're back to where we wanted to be.
Good. Yep.
All right, we're at the half hour remaining. If everyone's okay, we'll table this. That's a decent spot to stop.
And I don't want to stop. I don't want.
I know. No, is that a real motion, or are you just?
That's a real motion. Do you guys want to continue, or do you think that the other items?
Can we quickly look at? Can we just take the first thing that's in customer relationships, and the first thing in channels, and will it stick? Can we just stick it in there?
Just real quick, I want to
try
remind.
That's kind of the direction we've been going.
I just want to remind, discuss future meeting time and a little bit of conversation about like how meetings go is on the docket. So if we do take a extra time here, we would be perhaps eating into future meeting time discussion. Just want to make sure everybody's okay with that, because we had agreed to this agenda, and I guess
that's true.
I too would. I guess I'd like to work on it further. Am I hearing suggestions of like a 10-minute extension, or?
I like Brad's suggestion of adding the first one.
Yeah,
let's try that and see what it looks like, and add 5 minutes.
Okay, as long as I don't hear objections and I'm not sure who kind of owns the discussion on future meeting time, but I hope you guys are all okay with that move. All right, let's do it. I'm sorry, customer relationships, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Customer relationships, channels, cost structure, and revenue streams.
So try to see one, sales, right? Online sales. So who did customer relationships? Who's working on that one?
We did also, Erica and me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Was there anything else beyond sales that went into that first one? Was that like retail sales? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, just like our main relationship with customers will be like selling them something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in and then everything else comes like with as a plus.
There were times where when we were working on our sections where we divided in our minds like retail costs and sales and online costs and sales. And then there were times where we found it easier to think of them together. So to me, this could very easily be a 1 and 2 combination, or just a sales in general versus a separation.
Well, let's just do retail sales. If that's kind of, I mean, I'm assuming that's kind of what you meant by the first one there, since online sales is separate. We'll do retail sales, and that'll be part of the like feasibility study.
Yeah, that makes sense. I dig it. I put it
Is
in.
that good? Okay.
Unless anyone disagrees. Does anyone disagree?
Nope.
Adam? What's up, man? I haven't heard you in a little bit.
Seems good to me.
I'm happy with either one
Channels.
being or both. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these, it's like it seems like there's 2 good ones at the top, and we can just like do the other one the next time. You know.
I think retail sales is also a good place to start because I think that's probably where we have like some of the bigger assumptions. I think online sales, like there's a decent amount proven about that in regards to even the sustainability front. We are somewhat, I'm not saying totally pioneers, but like somewhat pioneering doing this type of product selection in a retail setting. So I think that would be a good place to.
Are you thinking it's kind of like have a food truck that's accessible before you go into catering kind of mindset? Like,
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It's a little bit the feasibility study. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Channels.
Channels.
Okay, so yeah, so we did like a couple number 1s too, so that kind of, I guess this kind of messes up our system. But I guess we could do like,
should we do the retail space?
Retail space. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure if we should combine a couple, but I think keeping it simple now is probably the best way to go.
Or maybe because we already have the retail as retail sales as customer relationship, maybe we should think about another channel to connect with them.
Channel to connect with them. Do you mean like well, so like events? Because I had events, we had events as the top there.
And sponsorships.
Right.
I guess website and
Very
app
good.
could be different things in my mind. And this is, I guess this is where I had like imagined things going, was that it would not necessarily be the same as Amazon Fresh, or I'm maybe that's not what that service is called, but just where they deliver food. I thought like the retail space was like, if you were near it in the country, you could go and like taste stuff and see it like in person if you wanted. And then after that, like, you know, people would just like order it kind of thing. But
yeah, channels really are like getting in front of your customer that you don't have and earning the business. So
Gotcha.
I don't believe our website or our app's going to be that unless we went viral somehow. So we probably would want to focus on social, which is number 2.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of nebulous and it's really open-ended, but that's the channel that we'd focus on. And then eventually we would get the organic growth and organic traffic going direct to our website, which would be our own channel kind of like now Amazon. People don't search Google for Amazon. Maybe they do, but they go to Amazon now. That is their channel now. But we wouldn't have that to start out with for
So
like
for the scope of the feasibility study, do you want to focus on that social channel, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit? Does that sound good to everybody?
we'd have to figure out which ones are the ones to focus on, and that might be.
And I think that could be part of the study. I feel like that's reasonable.
We would rock TikTok. TikTok would blow up.
But we'd shut down their servers for sure. We have to let them know to get more server space.
Okay. Assuming or hearing no like objections or other suggestions, we're cool with going with the social channels.
I'm gonna pitch this idea to you guys. What's that new one that the My Pillow guy just started? The like alt-right, free speech one. This could be our niche.
We could start there eventually, or we go there eventually.
Environmentalists, alt-right environmentalists. I think that's pretty tight. I think like it's a small enough niche to be a good start.
Too small, maybe. I don't know.
I'm joking. I don't know.
Did this cover what was suggested for the extension? And then
I think so.
We'd hit these two next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda was I believe it was discussions on meeting times. Here it is. Discuss future meeting time.
Vivek, was that you? Is that your thing?
They might have lost audio.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, you're muted.
So we sent out the doodles and we asked everyone to figure out what's best. If there's any possibility to changing the meeting time. What is the result? I think we were missing one person.
I think we're still looking for Calvin and Russell. If you guys could just.
Oh, okay.
We've talked to Ani. She's down to join. She would like to participate, but it's like a little tricky for her at this time in Portugal. So, but she would love to join.
All right, what am I supposed to do? Just click a radio button somewhere and vote on something?
Yeah,
I forget.
There's a
I'm
link.
sorry.
We can resend. I know. Yeah, you were. Yeah, we can resend the link after the call, and if you need Calvin.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it was in general.
It was in general. Yeah, we'll send it.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to search for it.
But maybe we can just discuss it later on the Slack. We don't have to spend time on the meeting, so we could kind of decide before the next meeting, no?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, as long as the facilitator sends out like the meeting invite properly, I'll be happy with whatever we come up with.
What is properly? What do I have to do?
Just send an email to let me know. No, it's not. That wasn't negative. That might have came out bad.
Man.
Sorry, Calvin.
Okay.
No, I think you have a good point. Yeah, I think just Calvin, I would recommend, and this is for anybody, the facilitator. I mean, there's just like a bunch of things the facilitator does, and I would recommend just going to Mira. Erica did a nice job of like summarizing what the facilitator does
the roles
on the board, and so just go there. It like explains sending a email update. After
it's actually frame with facilitator.
There's a frame with facilitator.
Frame there. Yep.
You can easily find it on the left. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
just follow
excellent.
the steps.
Just follow those things.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Good
Will
notes
do.
there. Yep.
I'm on it. I hope I won't be sick. I went to the doctor yesterday. We got new medications. Hopefully I'm good. Is there more to discuss on that, or we're waiting for the vote and we'll solidify that later, or we'll continue discussion in Slack?
Well, maybe Russell, as an action item, we can just like everyone try to be mindful of Slack this week, so we can just finalize the
if we can change the time. If we can't, we can't. But if we can, that'd be awesome to, I think we all, I've heard on multiple occasions people appreciating having Ani on the call soon. And I know she would like to be able to participate. If we can't change it, then it is what it is. So it's just hopefully we can. Right?
Okay. Yep. And fill out that
They
doodle.
also
Got
help
it.
for us. That's hard.
Yeah.
Also have what? What was that?
That would be also helpful for us a little bit, but
Oh, okay.
I'm not in the height. It would be a little helpful.
Okay. Okay.
If it's possible,
Yep. Yep.
it would be great.
Cool.
It's always better to us than not to us.
So we'll be mindful of the Slack. Those who haven't done the doodle, myself included, let's do the doodle. I believe that covers that agenda point. On to I believe it was Brad, right?
Yeah. So that
for
I didn't
meetings.
want to like blow the lead on my on the conversation, but I wanted to chat about what people thought about doing more doing more like remote kind of stuff instead of having everything having to happen in the meeting, figuring out some way to do voting on Slack or having like remote kind of sessions so that we don't have to cram everything into the meetings. I think it has the potential to solve a lot of problems. Ani could be involved more, even if she can't make the meeting. And I think, I don't think anyone like loves that they're 2-hour meetings. So I think, if we are able to push enough stuff out of the meetings, we could cut it down to like an hour and a half, maybe an hour, or do less meetings a month and just do more on Slack or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I one of the reasons our previous meeting was like successful was because we prepared watching the video, so we were like our minds were like already on like what business model Canvas was. It would only require us to commit to on the action items and like Vivek said, follow up on Slack, so we can do this. So maybe we can. I vote for yes, like having work outside the meetings to make our meetings flow more smoothly and maybe faster if possible.
Yeah, I agree also. I don't know about shortening the calls themselves, but definitely we could not extend them anymore. But yeah, if they could go just more, like if they could flow more, that would be much better and would make things easier. So basically doing more homework and yeah, preparing. I'm also.
Well, I think it's, in my mind, it was like probably more homework, but also like we'll all say, okay, we're all gonna vote by Friday, and then like we're gonna tally it on Friday. We're not gonna have to wait to the next meeting, right? And then that'll be the decision.
Can you give like an
Or,
example?
prepare.
Can you give an example?
Or preparing, like I feel like I feel like we could like do some of the smaller presentations and stuff just remotely, like share the presentation, give some notes, have something to, some content to read, and then everyone can vote on what like the next step would be without having to do it in a meeting. We could just do it on Slack. They put link to everything in Slack and have like a post and stuff. There's also some like Slack, I don't know if they're plugins or I can't remember what they're called, extensions or apps that do like voting, where we all, it gives you a couple buttons in Slack that you can press and then it tallies everything up. So that's like an option.
I would I'd be like a lukewarm, like willing to test it. I think that's one of the sort of things I wanted to talk about, and my agenda item was I think there's different levels of like engagement with Slack thus far, and I'd be nervous to shift too much stuff to Slack. While I I agree. I don't love cramming a ton of stuff into a meeting. Matter of fact, I think last week's meeting, one of the like key takeaways that I talked about was like how, because we focused on one thing, we were really like sharp and our mind was sharp on that. I think was helpful in, getting through it in a really efficient way. At the same time, like when everyone comes to these meetings, like we're attentive, we're focused, like we bring our full attention. And I worry that we won't bring that same level of engagement on Slack. I don't know how we could make sure that that wasn't the case. But if there was, I'm totally open all ears and happy to test it for a couple weeks. But I'd be nervous without like some sort of rough test.
Well, the idea would be it would be shorter meetings, with Slack being more how we organize and stuff.
I get it. I would just once again, like, how do we assure that, Brad posts something, we're all going to make sure to read it and we're all going to like consume it and not to mention it creates also a different dynamic in terms of consumption, right? So when we're in a live setting, we can all ask questions, we can have some sort of debate about it. Yeah, we can do that to some degree on Slack via some chat questions. I don't know. It feels like a slightly different dynamic where the presenter would have to.
I'm wondering, the way I'm hearing it and the way I'm understanding it is that essentially there would be 2 meetings a week. If we can imagine that there's like a half-hour meeting on the weekend, and then there's only an hour and a half meeting during the week, that's more touch base time, more live feedback, and perhaps more of a feel of progress because there's not long waiting times in between. And you got your big meeting, your small meeting, big meeting, small meeting. And then I think what's being suggested isn't. I'm not saying that anyone said like let's have 2 Zoom meetings, but what I'm hearing is let's have a time kind of designated, or maybe it's a time range, like a Saturday evening or something like that between, and then we're all on that same service around the same time, exchanging ideas, touching base there. And then coming up with objectives for the next big meeting. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that the function of this? Is that it's kind of like create more interactions, create more collision points throughout the week?
Exactly. Like the way we would do hopefully we would do the Slack meeting is we log into Slack and everyone's green because they're all online.
That's true.
It's like a work hour. It's like maybe a work hour
or
something like that, right? Then we could still have the back and forth, the more immediate back and forth. And then, we would have the meeting where we come together like today and we get a lot of work done because we totally did. Like, I was really impressed today. And I know this isn't the segment to be like, how happy are you? But this was a good job, guys.
Yes. Save it for later.
Yeah. So
if I'm understanding that right, I'm not opposed to the experiment, but I do find a lot of great value in like our together meetings. But I also see that there's value in like a kind of guaranteed 2 collisions a week, and things can move along quite well that way, especially if there's like big meeting, some tasks, small meeting, some tasks, and the whole team is like chipping away forward, kind of like tunneling into the earth with pickaxe. Like that makes sense to me. So I guess at that point it'd be like a vote for consensus to do such an experiment, and maybe it needs to be written out like exactly how that experiment would work, Brad. But I think that's how consensus works, right? We would go forward with that, like a proposition, find consensus, and then execute, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the key would be.
I think that's good.
I think it sounds like there's enough interest unless Jennifer or Adam is like vehemently opposed. Adam, Jennifer, are you guys opposed to it? No.
I'm
Adam's-
not opposed.
Okay. So yeah, so maybe Brad, it's on, you know, if you or if someone else wants to help Brad think through exactly the logistics of this. So that we have something like solid to vote on for this meeting or on Slack maybe.
Let's do it on Slack.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
The
test.
Test it right away.
I'm down to collaborate with Brad on that and try to
Okay.
think through it.
Yeah, we'll do some brainstorming here.
I mean,
Okay, cool.
once again, there's
Well,
the power of the interwebs. Maybe this is a problem. I'm guessing this is a problem that other orgs have tried to solve. Maybe there's some good examples out there of people doing like remote connecting without a meeting. So
But actually, I have a suggestion. Like we can test it all together right away. We can pick a time the next day or two, and we have a brainstorming. I don't know, half an hour, and whoever wants to pitch in to this brainstorm shows up on the Slack.
you mean to talk with Brad and
Yeah.
whatever Brad and
to
Calvin
talk
have
through
already,
what this would look like.
have already proposed. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll create a channel or something.
Yeah. And then you just tell us
Okay.
what time, date, time, and whoever wants to join.
Okay, so is that an action item?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm writing it
Okay,
down as
okay,
action. I
Russell,
can
you
do
got
that.
that? Cool.
And then Vivek, you mentioned. I just want to make sure I get your focus on like how to keep engagement high in Slack. I don't want to kind of like incorporate that and make sure that gets covered. That was your kind of objection to that
really
idea?
like, you know, I like it. I like where you're thinking, you know, like I think if we can nail it, this might help generally keeping us communicative on Slack and engaged in Slack. Because there's some really good stuff that's been sent around and shared via like everybody in this group. And but I think sometimes we just, you know, for whatever reason, we forget about Slack. Maybe it's like like as a group we haven't fully adopted the platform, and this might help you know, create greater adoption and more usage of it. So I'm excited to see what you guys can put together, or whoever the group is put together. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm
I'll
actually
create-
a little bit nervous about trying to like do a test run, unless it were just like very like just like an activity would be like check Slack over the weekend. Unless it's you know, something as vague as that. I'm not quite sure how an actual test run would happen like this weekend. I was imagining Brad and I would meet. We would kind of write out like how it would play, and then we would propose it to the group. And then the group would agree to do the experiment in the following week. But you know, just to get into the habit, and maybe I'm just speaking the same thing but with different words. But just get into the habit and check your Slack this weekend.
Well, I kind of like the idea of having a channel just for this discussion, and then everyone, if as you go through, you know, the next couple of days, if you have an idea like, oh, we could use Slack for this or something, we like post it, and then maybe sometime next week, maybe Calvin and I will go through and kind of summarize and kind of organize it a little bit, and then present that.
Yeah, that's right.
I think there's kind of technically a channel, right? Internal communication platforms. Do you guys want to just take that over? It's been pretty dead on that channel, but maybe you want to create
dead anyways.
Maybe you want to create a whole new channel.
Well, let's create a new.
But Brad's on it.
Okay.
Let's just create a new one. I like the idea of channels that are like hyper
Get 2
specific.
minutes, just being mindful.
I don't know.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So we're 2 minutes to the hour. I believe that's all the agenda points. We're on to our kind of meeting review and how you felt. How did the meeting go for you?
I had an item, but I guess we'll just have to push it back. It was about the organization stuff, but it's fine. It can be tabled. Or maybe.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice the organization feedback. I thought that was in relation to business model canvas.
We got into a flow, and I kind of didn't want to interrupt it either. But
Okay.
I think it's something I want to talk about for sure.
Okay. I'll make sure that that's in the notes for next week.
Thank you.
All right. So how did the meeting go? I guess we always just pick somebody and go around the room. So I'm gonna select Russell to go first.
I thought this meeting went great. Y'all are surprising me every time I come. We're doing great work. I'm really excited when we started to see the business canvas materialize with just a single item on each one. I was like, okay, we could maybe do this. Like all of our ideas are kind of starting to fit together. So I'm happy. Thanks everybody. I'll kick it over to Jennifer.
I thought, yeah, I was worried there for a second when we had so many things to try to put together, but we did it. So bravo.
Anybody you'd like to pass it on to, or can you not see screen right now?
Oh, sorry, Brad.
Yeah, I think yeah, I feel like we didn't have a clear path to well, anyway, I guess like it took us a little bit to figure out how we were gonna move forward, and I think we probably could have tried to put together a plan before like going into this. I mean, I think we kind of ran out of time last week to talk about it. But once we got started, I think it things kind of like moved really well. We had a lot of good discussions about each of the blocks. And I think like I think it was kind of funny. Like I wasn't sure how it was going to end up, you know, with the like it's a subset of the business model canvas, but we kind of picked the top one from each, and it's pretty cohesive. I mean, like you can kind of see how they're all pretty well connected. So that was really good. Yeah, I was happy with that. Erica, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you and Jennifer. In the beginning, I didn't have much clarity, so maybe we can think of for ways. Sometimes, like it's pretty obvious what we're gonna do. We're gonna present, but sometimes, like when we have like tasks like this, maybe there could be a way. It comes to mind the facilitator thinking ahead of time. Okay, how we're gonna handle this, or what strategy can we use? Give detailed instructions to the team on, or what do you want to do? Because I think last week all we did was like, okay, you're gonna tackle this and this blogs, but as you mentioned, we didn't prepare for our next meeting, and I feel like we are the same way tonight. We haven't said what we're gonna talk about next meeting, so maybe if nobody opposes, maybe we can take 5 minutes to do that. So I know I'm gonna be facilitator next week, and I want to Calvin, I think it's part of your responsibility is to create an agenda for next week. So maybe we can all help here.
Yeah.
And what are our action items, and how are we gonna tackle them during our next meeting?
Gotcha.
So I think the obvious ones are those two last boxes. We should probably have a team look at that. The two last boxes in the business model canvas.
Yep.
And then the action item of potentially using Slack as a synchronous meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up and presenting that proposal.
I think the next step too is the actual feasibility study, which in my mind is still kind of a vague idea of what that, you know, of like what the mechanics of that would be. Like how would we actually like take,
yeah,
you know,
I agree.
that?
Although
so that may be a good discussion.
Yeah, because I had that call on. I think I feel pretty confident how we tackle it.
Okay.
We could during next meeting.
Just to walk through like, yeah, what that would look like, who would be involved, or like who could be involved. Okay.
And then
I think that's probably in Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going back to the agenda, also just not forgetting the item that I was supposed to tackle this week.
Yeah, I put that right at the top.
And that's probably
for-
enough, just because if we do too much more, like we have a chance, we have a large chance of going over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've got
Good.
organization feedback, last 2 boxes, feasibility study. I made a special note for like, I think this is a good thing to do every week, is to know what we're expecting for next week. So I've just made it an agenda item at the end for next week as well. Did I miss any while I was typing?
nope, but we do need to figure out who's going to do the research on the last 2 boxes.
No, they've been done. They've been done. We just
No, everybody has.
they're all done.
Oh, they are done. Okay, that's even better.
Yeah,
You guys are awesome.
Nice.
I must have missed that part of the other
So
meeting.
we'll do the same thing we did this week, but for those
And
last
the
2
last two
boxes.
should be easy
right?
too. They shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah,
Probably
it should
20
yeah.
minutes, 30 minutes for business model canvas.
Okay. Erica, I thought that was really great. Thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you. And I agree with you that just like we have the icebreaker and then going to through the agenda in the beginning, we always have to close with action items and what's next.
Thank you.
That's-
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, and so I pass it to Ula.
Yeah, I think it was very good, and it's good to see we are kind of on the same page, even like, looking at the business model canvas. We kind of think similarly, looking at the ranking. And great job as a facilitator, especially I think we didn't expect that, Calvin. You seemed surprised.
Yeah.
So we were productive, and I think it was also fun. Nice backgrounds, guys. I liked it. Maybe next time we can also pick something funny for ourselves. Yep. Adam.
Yeah, I thought it was a great meeting, and I think I've been seeing a lot of momentum over the last few weeks, which is awesome. I do have some personal news I kind of wanted to share with the group. I've been working on a business over the last few months, and it's gained some traction. It's in the architectural and development field. And so I just wanted to tell the group that I'm considering taking a hiatus from the steering committee. I haven't really figured that out yet. But that said, I'm loving like the trajectory on where it's going. So if I did take a hiatus, I'd be happy, very confident in all of you. But yeah, I'll get back to the group on that pretty soon. Just giving y'all a little heads up there. Okay.
Thank you.
Vivek, did you go yet?
Not yet. Cool. Thanks, Adam, for the update. And yeah, good to hear for you're not creating a competitor. No joke. That's
Taking all this.
but,
Not this field, man.
So yeah, I think I feel mixed. As always, I'm just enthusiastic about this group coming together, and we keep tackling problems. But I also share the same sentiment as a few folks here. Brad, I think, mentioned like not being clear like how we're going to tackle this segment of the business model canvas as a group, and maybe taking a little bit more time than necessary. But in some ways, it's also good. I really love the dynamic of the team coming together and trying to like piece it together and be patient and understanding. So that's awesome. So that's really the key. I think the better we work together, I think that's powerful. It creates a lot of trust within one another. But yeah, I think we can always continue to try to be mindful and preparing. Also, I think like just coming not with a clear agenda with this meeting. I think once again just something it sounds like we've taken some action to resolve that, and it won't be a future issue. Hopefully so, but yeah, I think this is something all of us as owners should just try to be mindful of and try to focus on. And I say that because like if if you think about like any good movement, any good organization, like the group that kind of wins is oftentimes the one that's best organized, like figures out how to like solve problems together and in a cohesive way. So I'm going to keep pushing and urging all of us to try to be mindful in our own role of how to be organized well. So but that said, I think we made a ton of progress. Once we figured things out, we made a ton of progress. We did it very cooperatively and thoughtfully. So I say it was like a 9.5 out of 10 this meeting. So very happy. Yeah. And I guess Jennifer is the last person, maybe. Jennifer,
I
did you
think
go?
Brad did
Or Brad didn't go. Okay, my bad. Brad.
I did mine. Didn't I do mine?
Okay.
I
Who hasn't
haven't
gone,
I haven't
guys?
done mine.
Oh,
Okay.
Calvin. Okay.
I'm
there's
ready
the
to do it.
All right, I'll go here. It was awesome to be back. I've had a few ailment issues, even some problems with medication today, but I was happy to be back. And then pleasant surprise. Thank you guys for bearing with me about being facilitator. I will be more prepared in the future, I promise. And I do apologize for not being as well prepared as I could have been. I thought this meeting was really cool. This group has made me appreciate like entrepreneurship and business crafting so much. You guys have really opened my eyes to a lot of things. I appreciate all of your guys' perspectives. I thought it was some cool exchanges tonight, and I really like this meeting. Thank you all. Oh, and Erica, you made one point that a facilitator should also always bring up the action items. I'm sorry, it's at the very end. It probably shouldn't be here, but Brad, you were note taker, or was that Russell? I'm sorry.
Russell.
Could we go over those tasks real quick just so that everybody knows from the meeting?
The action items.
I'm sorry, yes, the action items, yeah.
It was try to perform a synchronous Slack meeting. So Calvin and Brad will be taking that and coming up with a proposal so that we can meet on it next week. Then there is, what was the other ones? You got me on the spot. It was finishing the business model canvas. We already have the work done. We just need to review it. And I think those are the two key ones for action items.
There's something earlier.
Maybe-
No, it was,
Be active on Slack, or was that?
it was definitely being active on Slack or something. No, but there was something else. Wasn't there something earlier?
We mentioned being prepared for next meeting, but I have a question about how, like, read about feasibility studies or stuff like what exactly, how we're gonna prepare for next meeting. Should we discuss it on Slack since it's a little late, or?
I think there was something more.
Oh, one was the doodle thing, and to
Yes,
perhaps check on a post
Yeah.
based on that. So do check Slack by a certain time this coming weekend, perhaps. Vivek, that was your topic item, or you were like the head of it. So could you suggest a time to check the Slack for that on?
For the doodle update.
Yeah, so once
I mean, as
Michael
soon as you
let out.
guys fill it out, so let's if everyone could just quickly glance during the weekend at some point, either Saturday or Sunday, we'll give an update.
Okay.
Of the results.
Yeah, I have that here already. I forgot.
I've got it up as well. Oh, and to fill out our
Say that again, Calvin.
to fill out our I forget what they're called, the Google Doc or the Google Forms.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, yeah.
Russell.
Feedback.
Okay, cool.
Okay, if that's all of it, I believe this meeting's complete, and check that Slack, and we'll see you next week, maybe at the same time, maybe not. All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Jennifer.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Don't forget